IED students, and welcome to your last week of school for the 1920 school year. I know fourth quarter has been a little weird, but you guys have done a great job so far, so let's finish this last week super strong. You have 3 more VEX Vr assignments that you need to do, and they're a little bit trickier than the other ones that we've done so far. But I'm going to walk you through the activity guide and the instructions to clarify things, so make sure you watch this video completely before you start those assignments. That way you're not confused and you understand what's going on. So let's go take a look. All right, guys, let's buzz through this activity guide and your instructions for the week, and then you guys can go ahead and get started on your assignments. So again, this is week 3 of VEX Vr. Your big concept is that you're going to use that VEX Vr environment and complete some basic tasks for robotics. Now again, today we are posting those assignments, and then you have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to work on them. Friday is the last day to turn in any work for the fourth quarter. That is 11:59 p.m. So please make sure that you have all of your assignments turned in by that time. Now, your time breakdown for this week is that you have about 2 hours of work. Problem 5 should take you about 30 minutes. The number crossing activity, probably about 30 minutes. And then writing your initials, probably about an hour. The way you can break down these assignments for the week is that today everything is posted by noon. You can review all of the videos and assignments, and then tomorrow complete problem 5. Wednesday do the cross numbers. Thursday complete your draw initials activity, and then Friday wrap up any unfinished assignments, double check your submissions, turn in those assignments, and call it done for the 1920 school year. So let's take a look at the 3 specific activities you're doing this week. We have problem 5. Cross numbers activity, and draw your initials. So starting with problem 5, you're going to open the worksheet in Google Classroom and follow the instructions to complete the robot's path. Fair warning, a little bit of math is involved, so you're going to want to grab a calculator for this one. Make sure you use the pen tool to document where your robot has traveled, and make sure that you're using black or blue ink to complete that activity. So now let's take a look more specifically at the worksheet. All right, guys, here are your directions for VR Robot Lab number 5. So you're going to be in the number grid playground, and you're going to create a program that will do the following. So you're going to start at the number 64, then you're going to drive to the square root of 64, and then the robot should drive to a number that is 3 times the answer of step 2. So that means the square root of 64 multiplied by 3. Next, the robot should drive to a square that is half of the answer to step number 3. So we're going to find the square root of 64, multiply it by 3, and then divide it by 2, and that's where you're going for step 4. Then finally, the robot should drive to the spot that is the result of step 4 divided by itself. So the answer to number 4 is you divide it by itself, and that is your final location. So you're going to make sure that you use the pen tool so we can trace the robot path. That's either black or blue pen. And you have to make sure that you rename your program. And then you need to include screenshots of your completed code and your robot path below. And then answer this conclusion question. Is there a way to make this repeat indefinitely? Describe your process and be sure to identify and explain your code in order to receive full credit. This is an analysis. It needs more than just a yes or no. All right, so now for your problem 5 submissions, again, you need that screenshot of your VEX Vr area inserted into your document. Please make sure it's inside of your document so we know which problem that screenshot belongs to, and make sure that it also includes the playground with the robot in the final position. Also, you need to download your program from VEX Vr and then attach it to your assignment. You are not attaching PDF files. We do not want a printed version. We want the downloaded version. If you're not sure how to download that program, go back to the Tech Tips video in week 1 and check it out. So now we're going to take a look at the cross numbers activity. This problem is going to ask you to open the worksheet in Classroom, and then you're going to program the robot to cross out specific numbers. You're actually using blue and red ink to alternate back and forth between the 2 numbers, which you'll see in the worksheet. So let's take a closer look. Okay, so here are your directions for cross every number. So your playground is the numbered grid map, and your challenge is to program the robot to cross off each number from 1 to 100 in order in alternating colors. So you're going to use the pen to mark each odd number in red and each even number in blue as the robot passes through. So if you look at this picture right here, you'll see how it should look. You can see numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, which are odd numbers, are crossed out in red. And the even numbers 2, 4, 6, and 8 are crossed out in blue. And some helpful hints for you. Each square in the number grid map measures 200 millimeters by 200 millimeters. We had an issue before with you guys converting millimeters and inches and kind of flipping things around. Look at the programming blocks and your different options that are available to you. Look at trying to figure out the distances and how to control them. Also, if you want to use fewer blocks, try including blocks from the control category, like the repeat block. Now, you'll also need to include screenshots of your code and your completed robot path in the window below. And you may have to make sure that you include your program code as part of the assignment submission by downloading the program and making sure that you rename it appropriately. All right, so now for your cross number submission, of course, the screenshot and that downloaded program. Your last activity is going to be the draw your initials activity. So this problem asks you to open the worksheet in Classroom and you're going to program your robot to move in a way that it draws your initial for your first name and your last name. We are not going to require you to do your middle name. And make sure you're on the art canvas and that you're using blue or black ink. You may also use red for this one as well to complete this activity. So let's take a look at the worksheet for some more specifics. All right, guys, so let's look at the directions for draw your initials. So your playground is the art canvas, and your challenge is to create an algorithm or program for each letter of your initials. First and last name, you don't have to do your middle initial, and you're going to use the pen on the VR robot to draw those letters onto the art canvas. You can use black, blue, or red ink for this activity. Your initials should be the same height. They should also be the same or close to the same width, and we understand that not all letters have the same effect. Some letters are naturally thinner and some are thicker, but this means that you will need to plan ahead to make sure that the size of your letters all fit onto the art canvas. If you have a curve in your letter, so like an S or a C, do your best to interpret the curve using diagonal lines. Do not create box letters. So here you can see that this is a no, this is a yes. Why? Because this does not look like a letter. This looks like the letter D. Okay, here we go. That's a 5. That's an S. That is half a square. This is a letter C. So make sure that you are using diagonal lines to create those curves and not just doing boxed letters. So a couple of helpful hints. Each square on the art canvas measures 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters. And you're going to select the top camera on the VEX VR dashboard for a better view of the art canvas. And then use the set pen position block from the looks category to move it up and down. Again, you're going to need your screenshots in here and a downloaded program that is named appropriately. All right, and again for that submission, make sure you have a screenshot and make sure you have your program. That should mean that at the end of these assignments, you have a total of 6 items, no more, no less, attached in Google Classroom. And as always, if you are feeling confused or have questions, feel free to email me or Mr. K, and also rewatch the videos from previous weeks. All right, guys, that is it for this week. Those are all of your assignments. If you have questions, reach out to myself or Mr. K. Again, the deadline for every single assignment for fourth quarter for IED is 11:59 on Friday. So manage your time well, budget your time wisely, and of course, if you need help, let us know. I'll talk to you later.